So let's start with the second roundtable. Welcome to our panelists, Roberta Anelli, Innovation Manager at New Ventures at PwC Italy, Paolo Sbuttoni, Creative Thinking Coach and Marketing and Communication of Rold, Matteo Losi, Head of Presale Architect and Innovation, SAP EMEA South. In this roundtable, we analyze the people empowerment for digital transformation journeys of company. It's a very interesting topic because there are many small and medium business in Italy that are facing these challenges, not only in uncertain words as mentioned in the first roundtable, but also to restart in a new growing economy in Italy. So the question one for everyone is referred to the C4DM model presented this morning by Professor Canina. We saw that creative skills are very important to face on these challenges, to catch up the new opportunities, and these creative skills are focusing on different pillars: cognitive, cross-functional team, digital, strategic vision. So in your opinion, which kind of these pillars are the most important? Why? And in the company challenges, what are the specific skill, both technical and soft skill, to gain this opportunity? Roberta, we start with you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So in order to answer to your question, I would like to start by analyzing the definition of creativity, which is something that also, if we take a look at the various scientific contribution of the subject, it's something that it's like evolving towards a more social and collective dimension. It's not just an individual thing. Also, talent is not just an inspiration coming from somewhere, and so we can train talent, we can develop new skills, and we can develop creativity as well as a social and collective dimension. So I think that the most important things when we speak about creativity is just analyzing relationship with everything is taking place. It's like a society, companies like a cities where people just are acting as a citizen. They have relationships where they are just having like cross-contamination with different ideas, different like realities, different backgrounds. And I'm saying like that because I would like to share my experience, because I'm a sociologist and criminologist, which is like a really strange background. If you think a consulting company, it's such like really strange. But yes, I really found really interesting to work with people with a different background, with different ideas. And also when we work with companies, we try to start by creating an innovation ecosystem. So relationship with different realities, such as startups or center of research, university, we are working together. Today we are building an innovation ecosystem. So I think probably the starting point for companies that want to apply digital transformation program or innovation program is to start by developing a cross-functional teams. It's probably my just like experience, personal experience, but I found really interesting to work with economic background, engineer background, and also in technologies like fields. We were just saying before in the previous roundtable, also mixing of fields. It's so important if you want to apply this kind of digital transformation or innovation program. So I do believe that probably cross-functional teams, but also it's like a responsibility for companies that want to apply this program, promote across contamination competencies, culture, and also culture of failure. We need to give the opportunity to people to express themselves, to fail, and learn about starting from the failure. So yeah, I think that probably cross-functional team is the basic level in order to start think about creativity.
Thank you. Paolo, you have a creative thinking coach. So does mean for you creativity and how you can translate the creativity into digital transformation processes in companies?
Thank you. Creativity is like digital. I mean, it's a tool. And we can use them, we can learn them, we can practice it, and make people aware of something much more powerful in them. So let's think about creativity as just a tool, like the computer, and how digital can help us. Why not? I mean, this is how we will use it, how we will, starting from applying it in everyday world and our life. As I work with in an SME, I'm working in marketing and advertising because my background is advertising. So let's think, or let's pretend I'm a creative. Not at all. By the way, it's how we can cross-pollinate, people that are working with machines, with those kind of thinking. But it's not so different. I mean, we all solve problems, and creativity is a tool helping people to solve problems. And you know what? I'm a fanatic of not to teaching creativity to people, but to make them learn creativity. If you teach something, maybe they will not apply it. If you start thinking about them as people, you can start thinking how to make them learn. And this is quite different. I mean, this is how maybe all the consultancy world and I mean, everybody, the manufacturing, the factories, has got to start thinking in a different way. It's not how to, top-bottom knowledge and things like those, but how then we can have students again there in the classroom, there in the field. I mean, close to the machine. This is what we start and thinking and trying to apply into a real factory. So I moved to a factory because in my own life experience, I needed to go there. I mean, everything is like producing something. You produce idea, you produce components for major appliances like we are doing now. By the way, people are people. People who are working with this then need to be aware of what's going on inside their thinking. So this is not philosophy. It's that translating thinking into actions. And this is how we are trying to manage this. This is innovation in a factory.
Matteo, you are an innovation manager in SAP. You and your team support companies to start and to improve innovation pathways. So does mean creativity for you, and what are the skills most important in the functional team?
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank you, Politecnico di Milan, to invite me. It's the first live event with people in front of me, so I'm a little bit of emotion after 2 years, 1.5, almost 2 years that we were completely, at least from SAP perspective, lockdown. So, and it's a privilege also to talk to you about such a complex topic like creativity and innovation. So I always have doubt on people that put in the title innovation or something like that. So I have doubt on myself first. So to become real innovator, you need to have a lot of questions for you first. And I think this is the point where to start. And is the point where a team with richness, with more inclusiveness as possible, can generate richness per se. I'm within SAP working into a geography that is quite strange because it's a strange multinational geography. So it's a Mediterranean country that is the cradle of the creativity of our culture, together with Middle East and Africa. So the team is quite diverse. And I've learned that putting together people that are coming from different cultures is fundamental to create and foster this creativity. And believe me, there are, within my team, I have people from South Africa, Spain, Middle East. So we work constantly in challenging ourselves in the way that we work and in a way that we transfer the idea to our customer that every day is a learning. So it's fundamental to have this type of contamination, to talk with people with different culture. The perspective could sound to be really strange to you at the beginning, but as much as you talk with the Middle East colleague that explain you what are the differences, and hopefully very soon we will start again to travel, meet them, living with them in their offices is a fundamental mind shift for everyday thinking. Now, one thing that we are constantly working within SAP that I heard also before, it is a challenge for who is looking at the innovation, is the ability for people. I'm a person, I have a technical background. I have a degree in electronic engineer. I was a former years ago, not here in the old headquarters of Polytechnic of Milan. The ability to transfer what you have in your head that is sometimes bright, incredible, innovation driving into a story, into something that could inspire the people that are listening to you. And we teach our people storytelling, not in the sense of fairy tales or once upon a time. We teach our people the ability to transfer an idea in simple words for the people that are listening. So this is another big effort and investment we are doing constantly every day. And I think it's a journey, because innovation doesn't start from having an idea. It starts from transferring this idea into something that could become a value for the people that are listening and can be translated into something effective and tangible. These are wonderful examples here around us of innovation that could become, or ideas that could become innovation if they are put at work. How we can put this at work? Transferring this, bright, incredible, and wise technical things into something actionable for the entrepreneur. And this is really something that we are working. Is a challenge.
Yeah, of course, and amazing. Matteo, I'll stay with you because in these pathways you mentioned, and as you see in the DC4DM model, the first pillar of the new skills required to people refer to the cognitive skills. Today, one of the increasingly demand skills are related to the analytical, measurement, management. So it's a little critical question. We have to become everything IT engineers or data scientists or data analysts, and how combine analytical view with creativity skills.
Yeah. Again, this is another area where we're constantly working with within SAP. SAP is a software. We produce technology. Our developer develop software that is used by our companies, by our customer every day. So one thing that makes the difference in a way that we transfer the value to our customer is the ability of the people not just to understand the data or whatever it will come in the future that can be a driver for the innovation or transformation. Is not just the technical part, but is the ability of the people that are living this technical innovation into transfer into a business value. We call it business domain knowledge, and we push it in SAP. We are also going industry by industry. We call it industry business domain knowledge. So data are offering to all of us, even every day, a phenomenal possibility to really understand the world, to see the world with different eyes. It's like having deep insight in phenomena that were very, very difficult to understand. Now they are treatable with the new technology. It will become more and more easy to be treated. Data then also impose a little bit of concerns of many other aspects related to our personal life, etc. But having an understanding of what you can achieve in a specific industry, in a specific business domain knowledge, is fundamentally important, and more important than not being able to treat the data as a data scientist. Let me explain you one thing. Is a silly example in relationship to the ability to transfer information to our customer. when we talk about business domain knowledge, we talk about the fact that our people are expert into, I don't know, HR processes, manufacturing processes, financial processes, whatever type of process. And they could understand, looking at how the company is working, how the processes are working inside the company, how they can leverage better the information that are generated around the company, inside the company, outside the company, to, for example, achieve better results into forecasting or into understanding how the company is performing. So these are the people that need to really have a deep insight on the processes, and taking this insight, they can also understand how to leverage better the information that are collected from the different processes. Then, with the help of data scientists, we can transform this into business value. One of the biggest challenges today of having, let's say, data scientists into the organization is try to merge the two dimensions of ability to crunch data, to analyze, to get inside of plenty of information into something that is valuable for the business. And this could be done only with the people that really understand the business, that really understand how the company is working. I'm talking about across all the dimensions of a company, from the customer perspective up to the more, let's say, boring, I would say, sorry for saying that, aspect of the financial process of a company, where the things didn't change so much in the last 100 and plus years, but can be achieved in a different way. So that's essentially the things and the dimension, together with the creativity, on the fact that we can make a difference into an organization if you look at a perspective not just of the data per se, but how the data are used and operated by the company inside their processes. And for us, it translates into a title that is this business domain knowledge.
Okay, thank you. Roberta, from different point of view, with different tone of voice and suggestion, this morning we are telling to the young people that they have both hard skill and soft skill. We suggest them to be a little schizophrenic. So what are the path to gain both hard skills, soft skills? And in your opinion, referring to the DC4DM model presented this morning, what are the most important skills, in your opinion, the students or the future manager and the future leaders, I mean also the future politics leaders, you have to collect?
Thank you for your question. Yeah, I can confirm it's like frustrating and stressful. If you want to imagine like the innovator's profile, I can just describe this profile when with the same story that I used to explain to my family with kind of job I do. I just like explaining that I'm half human but half technologies. Technology, I'm always like on social media, I'm always exploring new trends, new technology, try to study them and apply into different fields, because we work with different companies coming from different industries. So we need to constantly looking at the new trends, new startups, new center of research. So probably curiosity is one of the most important like skills in terms of soft skills. But you need to be rational, half artist, because you need to be creative. You need to think about new, innovative things, try to apply them. It's not just about ideation, but it's always about like always develop something new technologies, new products or whatever. And then you need to be a ninja. You have to fight against the traditional mindset of the company you're working with. And at the same time, you need to be patient, calm, because you need to understand the maturity of the company. So you cannot just push something if the company is not ready to just take this kind of information, this kind of new mindset, a new innovative approach. So yeah, it can be really frustrating if you do this kind of job. I think that one of the most important soft skills is, as I said, curiosity. Of course, you need to be an explorer, you need to be a gardener, you need to nurture all of the ideas and try to just develop something new coming from different background, different realities. And probably this is true not only for people, not only for innovation manager, but also for company that wants to apply digital transformation model, innovation program, or wherever. They need to be curious also. Really, when they have relationship with young people, they want to attract them. They have to understand, observe, listen them. We were talking before about gaming, for example, as an industry, but of course we have to learn from young people. We cannot just ask them to have hard and soft skills. We have to observe them. I'm a sociologist, so I'm sorry if I'm just coming back to the same concept. But yeah, I think that it's so important to observe, to co-design with them new solutions, new ideas. So that's why when we talk with companies, when we work with companies, and when we try to apply this kind of model, we always started from a concept that coming from behavioral economists, especially the nudge theory of Richard Thaler. We really believe in gently push people towards innovation. You have to create the right environment in order to gently nudge, push people towards innovation. So you have to understand the cultural context, the right competencies of people, and then you can just bring them to the innovation. That's why we launched a Nudge for Innovation program. For example, we were talking with Polytechnic about this program, and we had such a great success because it was like something that created for the first time in a consulting company, so cross-functional team together, bringing the same ideas, and also they are still working, developing new products, new solutions. So I really believe in nudge theory in order to have innovation as a soft skills for company, because I'm bringing you the company's perspective. It's not just about the hard and soft skills. Skills are fundamentals, but we can train in them. We can just develop new skills, starting from responsibility for the company.
Thank you. Among the observation, Paolo, I presented you as a creative thinking coach, but also as a marketing and communication overall. You have an important role in an important Italian manufacturing company that has undertaken an important and critical digital transformation journey. So you have a double hat, a double point of view. So in one hand, how you are seeing the transformation of the talent in the manufacturing company. In the other hand, how you transfer your creativity skills to accelerate, improve this digital transformation journey by your own.
Okay, so in Rolled, as I can say, we walk the talk. I mean, because we decided 5 years ago to implement an idea of innovation and to do it by ourselves. And it's a manufacturing company, as Marco Tai said before. It's much more mechatronic company because it mix, the mechanical, electromechanical components with digital components. And so this means this is the first mind shift that was requested to people who work and lived in that company. And so the board decided to bring into the company people who are outside of the company mindset, usually outside, like IT people, so many deep digital, with so many deeply involved in digital background and technical world. People like me, as coming from advertising or from consultants in creativity. So, we are 300 people there. We are kind of second generation SME. So, and blah, blah, blah. We are one of the 80% of Italian, producing, the producing and manufacturing factory. So, ideas was to start, not to start to make people understand what lean manufacturing was. And this was the first, let's say, new language brought into the, the shop floor to people who are working 8 hours a day, with machines. Now it's about a kind of making them learn a new language and with gaming, also using gamification or something like this, because this is the most useful way to make people learn and apply, is to, to get them space to play. And we learn so much by playing. And I can say that we, in a manufacturing company, we also learn by hands, by doing. So it was really tricky for the top management to understand how to deal with this change. And then, thank you for saving me. It was a bug. Thank you. I mean, it's a bug. So now I will start talking like this, and it's a bug in my software. I can say that coming back to this, we start doing software, yes, and with not so many bugs, because we have the shop floor there, we got the machine there. So sorry for this. We call SAP, but we start developing a monitoring production software by ourselves. So we got this common, language between people who are working and giving a feedback, an instant feedback to people who are developing this idea of monitoring production, OEE, and blah, 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 all these kind of things about productivity. And so, the implementation was quite so quick. We started with 4 machines, and now we got 80 machines in all our plants. And we were chosen by the World Economic Forum among the first 16 companies in all around the world in 2019. And we were the only SME in the world, as coming from Nerviano. Oh my God, yes, Nerviano is the belly of the world, of course. And also, we were the only Italian, owned by Italian people one. So this is okay, but if you want to get attention by this, is not the proper way. So we start paying attention on what's going on and what's happening. So we learn by doing this, and we start making people understand that was not the big brother effect. We want to control them, and it took some time to make them much more comfortable in this change, because that people love change, but they hate to be changed. We are pretending they need to be, to do something different. And so we started to train them, to make them feel comfortable, to say it's the same with your smartphone. It's just use this, consumer device into a factory environment. This was the idea, using consumer devices like smartwatch or just digital signature touch screen, into the factory. Why I got to pay so much for a computer connected to my machine instead of using a common device, smartphones. So this was the idea, and actually it worked. And how we measured it. I was into a plant and I saw 2 operators into a machine sending selfies, one to each other, and saying, "This is my machine OEE, overall equipment effectiveness." And he says, "Oh, I lose." So this was how they start, with this simple thing that was about gaming, playing, about competition. And it was, yes, that was the really beginning of using creativity so creativity was spread using this kind of things, different thinking into let's say a common manufacturing environment.
Yeah. So let me do a little extra program in this roundtable, because you mentioned with different point of view the importance of the technologies. So it's important to have creativity. In this creativity view, I think it's very important to understand and to know the emerging technology and their impact, not only for the strategic processing in company, but also of the human-centered, as mentioned by Professor Canina, the human-centered potential in emerging technologies. This morning, Professor Teish has mentioned artificial intelligence, but here we are very nerved with other technologies as the 3D printing, Internet of Things, and so on. Matteo, can you just have an overview of the most important emergent technology at this moment, and why, in your opinion, is important to link and to cross the human-centered skills with the hard technical skills?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's an extra program.
No, that doesn't matter. So we have, in SAP, we have what we call a technology radar, where we look constantly, not me, but colleagues that are in our labs. We have an organization named New Venture and Technology. They look exactly to these existing, emerging, future technology that can be an impact in an horizon that we said is near term, middle term, and long term. So we said 1 year, 3 to 5, 10-year plus. So emerging technology are multiple. So you need to put that into the perspective. And we look at how the company, so our customer, we own majority of the biggest customer on earth, can use this type of technology. So if you look at the, let's say, short term or already in use technology, for sure, what we see here, it's all related to IoT, big data, are all, let's say, technology that are common ground for a company. For the ones that they didn't already, companies that didn't already started, it's a good idea to start to leverage that properly. I think in a medium term technology, we see a lot of technology related to the possibility to improve the interaction between humans and whatever is connected to digital. Here we have very simple, complex things. We have experiment, for example, in the company together with in partnership with a technology vendor, with another vendor, for example, of a sensor that is measuring the level of stress of the people that are using, for example, a system, to understand when is the right moment, for example, for them to start to take a pause, or, for example, to learn different things. I think if you look at these very important and relevant emerging technology, again, every technology has got a side effect, because if you measure brainwave of stress, or you can elaborate on a emotional situation of an individual from technology perspective, you can do other nasty things on us, so that's but the technology is going in that direction. And then I think is the longest term, and let's say in terms of our perspective, we look at the third revolution from quantum. So the quantum computing is for us at the moment, even if we have, some company have delivered already this technology to the market, IBM, we have one of the most famous computer made it available on a quantum. But it will become for sure something that is a groundbreaker. It is already in a certain sense, because quantum technology was split into different type of, let's say, solution. If you look at quantum cryptography, it's very near. If you look at a utilization of quantum computing on a larger scale, it's maybe will come and will take some years again to stabilize the technology and to prove the technology is also working. So if you look from this perspective, technology is making huge progress, and will offer for sure availability that were unthinkable before. For certain things, even in a shorter time that the people expect to be. For example, quantum cryptography is it's very, very important to make our life safe, because without having encrypted data, we were all dead here, because bank accounts, whatever personal data, a little bit of the safety net that we are around us will be destroyed quickly in the way that we're living. So we need to continuously to have a look on that. That's very important what Professor Teichen said this morning, because every company, I would say, that is working technology should have their own observatory. I would say the company that doesn't have the observatory can rely upon other observatory made for this place here is made for that, for the purpose, and it's absolutely important to take advantage and leverage this opportunity.
Paolo, there is a research lab enrolled, so there is a very important observatory of the emerging technology. Can you explain how your researcher put creativity into technological development processes?
Yeah, actually they are a cross-functional team, because, I mean, the manager comes from Polytechnic or from Mechanical Polytechnic, so he used trees, use creative problem solving, maybe design thinking. So using methodologies, now this is the first way in which you can gain innovation, achieve innovation through a process. And so this is not about letting people to rely just on their talents, but also into a real process, because creativity has got its own rules. And you can apply these rules. You can achieve, different results. You can achieve innovation. And creativity is not something fuzzy or just, bizarre. It's how we use these methodologies. We can find them also in Marita, Professor Canina, methodology and ideas. By the way, our lab or the other research and development teams really use it. They use brainstorming, but proper brainstorming. I'm trying to inflate to them how to brainstorm properly, because it's not. Also, creativity has got rules, has got something that is effective if you apply it. It's not just going there, throwing ideas on the table, and then that's it. No, I come back to how using ideas is how to implement them, and so also research and development has got to understand how they can sell. I mean, one of the best, personally, I think that one of the most intriguing and important skill is negotiation. How they can learn negotiation in order to sell their ideas and their processes into the company, unless they will not see the light. We are talking about how to sell, things inside to your customer. I mean, we got in the customers. We got to understand also in the research and development that you are a salesman. And creativity means it's not only being creative into having an ideas, but also into selling them, into finding the right problem. This is creativity. Creativity maybe is misleading. There's a misleading if you think that creativity is just having ideas. Oh, sorry. No, not for me. It's addressing the right problem, is taking the right data, in using in the proper way right data in a new way, using the data. This is how technology, how data can be helped by and completed by creativity. So the thing is, the real question is, what else? This means, and this will lead to what's next.
Of course, Roberta, you suggest to all of us to be curious, but for example, to observe the emerging technologies and their impact on our society, on our future, on our economic, on our businesses is really necessary to have a hard skill, a technical skill. So, as you mentioned, probably to solve the fit between hard and soft is the cross-functional functional team is the solving problem. But in your opinion, what today are the critical point to build a really effectiveness cross-functional team?
But we develop in PwC like a technology transfer methodology, a tech hub, which is started from this kind of question, because how can we develop cross-functional team mixing technical competencies within like social competence, human backgrounds or wherever. So I do believe that we have to start by analyzing social complexity, social innovation that we were mentioning. It's one of the trends in terms of like innovation, actual innovation. And probably we need to transform the technology into something that can solve big challenges into social context or like social trends or economic issues or wherever. As a sociologist, I always started from observation of social complexity, of social problem, of citizen problem, and I try to mix like different technologies, different complexity in order to solve this problem. If we bring together just different backgrounds, we can probably just address this kind of big challenges that we are facing as a industry, as a different like company, startups or wherever. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. From this morning, we are continuing to suggest to students how they can improve the soft skills. So I want to change the point of view and launch a critical point to the companies. How can or should companies do to attract and retain people with new skill, with new mindset, and make the power of people produce and made the best possible for the company? Roberta. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Yeah, as I say, we always consider that the company is a society. So people that are acting into a society, this means that like they are acting as a citizen. So they are creating value. They want to receive value back. So company needs to address this kind of value towards people. They need to understand what they want, what the values they are looking for, what they like passionate about. So they need to start probably by addressing an assessment of their people, understanding their passions, their just behavior, just observe them, and probably just starting from that point, we can talk about people power. We can just bring people at the center of the company, because if we do not understand what the talent want, we cannot attract them, and probably we cannot like talk about talent retention. So it's so important also to understand differences between generations, because we are acting like generational. There are like very different between millennials or boomers. So we have to communicate as a company like new values and probably co-design companies' values with this kind of generation, because they want to believe that they are doing something concrete. They are belonging to a company, they are belonging to a valuable society. So we need to co-design with them, because they are so different as a generation between millennials and boomers or wherever. So yeah, that's probably the most important things. We want to talk about people power and people at the center of the company.
Okay, Paolo, in your experience, what role
Our experience is consider that we are a manufacturing company. So I mean, compare maybe to PwC or SAP, we are not so attractive. And so this is how we're trying to apply creativity, and we start, making something different, but also thinking about brand reputation. Also, although we are an SME, we need to understand how much this is important and, fundamental. Going into using social like Instagram and not only LinkedIn. Because this is the language in people, and they need to be aware that we are attracted to them as much as we we need, and we need they are attracted by us, you know. And it's the same thing. So putting out, I mean, a kind of a balance in making that factory that maybe with the stereotypes are still, you know, dirty and smoky and greasy and blah, blah, blah. But we noticed that if we can attract them to spend maybe 2 hours in our shop floor, in the plants, they are, you know, amazingly surprised on how different today is this. And so we need to start from the schools, you know, from the second grade school, making them aware and understand that, I mean, also a manufacturing company is in the future, is something in which they can perform, they can be, let's say, they can be talented and they can learn again. One of what we are doing, and 1 year ago, we created the Rolled Academy, and it's, yeah, for manufacturing and SME, it's kind of strange, but it's kind of, you know, making people understand that we want them to grow, and starting from the people who are working internally. So this is the first, the purpose of Rolled Academy is to make people who are there for maybe from 20 years, they will grow again. We need, through Rolled Academy, to our, you know, training programs, we are trying to, and through digital will allow these people to have more time to learn. This is what I think it's a place in which digital creativity can make us achieve great objectives because of people. And for the people, you know, make them learn and trust again in a new person with new skills. Is not teaching, is giving them the enough space and time to engage them into a new learning. This is for us, I mean, what we call upskilling. It's starting from people, starting from time.
Thank you, Paolo. Matteo?
The most difficult question. If I look at the perspective of what I see is, so young talent, we invest a lot in our company. I'm talking about €1 million. So to have a young talent, we have a program for young talent. Now it's a little bit different due to the COVID, but we hire people from university or a few years of experience. Typically, to create the new generation, we send to California for 6 months to study. We keep them in incubation for other 6 months inside SAP to start to become and to enter into to their role. So, in the problem of talent, I see clearly 2 stages: attracting them, and okay, obviously the brand is important. But the most difficult part is to retain the people. So that's absolutely crucial. We have many people. We invest a lot in people, and it's a lot of money invested, and sometimes we see them going, even from after a few years that they stay in the company. And very talented young person. One of the things that I believe it's important for these young people to really understand, for them, not us to try to explain them, but for them, is understanding one word for me. It's synthesizing everything: the purpose. What am I doing here? What is my impact on my current role in my job? I'm doing the difference. I'm contributing to achieve something. I'm making a difference on the company, on the customer, on myself, etc., etc. So I think, I have a managerial role in my company. One of the most difficult things that I feel the pressure on is really when you have someone really young and demanding in your team, understanding together and spending time together to really understand the motivation, why the people are investing time to stay in the company, because it's their time to stay in the company. It's not the opposite, like maybe 40, 50 years ago, because today the world is full of opportunity. And for young people, it's very easy to change job, especially if they are very talented. And so the investment that we are doing in SAP, especially on a managerial level, is to really have the people align on identify always the best aspiration and inspire the people to do their job. This is my daily work. It's not telling them what I have to do, frankly. It's if you look at the responsibility that they carry, some young people that I have in my organization, it's really unbelievable. But why are they staying there? Because they see this as a responsibility. It's not just a job assigned to me. It's something that I can contribute to make the difference. Obviously, it's not easy, always maintain this balance, but I see this is becoming more and more a topic for the future, for the young generation. Considering also, if you look at a digital skill, we have a shortage of knowledge and people with disability that is amazing. So as we move on into this world, I think has become more critical. So many times I think you have heard about the battle. The competition is a competition for the talent. It's not a competition of because at the end, as you said, people are made in the company. It's not the company that is existing by itself. So in essence, again, purpose, it's a daily routine for me to really thinking together with these people to motivate them to pursue what they want to achieve and try to make it happen together.
Thank you, Matteo. So summarizing this interesting right table, looking the digital transformation pathway for company, I understand the real power is closing in people, in the talent. So remarking the suggestion by Roberta, be curious, as you saw this morning with the model presented by Professor Canina, the digital creativity for digital maturity is a pathway not only for the digital transformation challenges, of course, but it's a pathway that all people, all company can start with different empowering scaling, for example, cognitive, as you mentioned, digital, of course, a new strategic vision and foresight skills, and also to be able to work in a heterogeneous and cross-functional team. I think this is the four real important pillars to define the own proper digital maturity. So thank you so much, Roberta. Thank you, Paolo. Thank you, Matteo. Now I have a little break for lunch, of course, and at 2 p.m. we have a trip here in the MAID Competence Center, and we start at 5 p.m. with a third roundtable. Thank you so much.